The Republicans say, hey, you know what? Okay, God, jobs, right. We ran on jobs in 2010, and then it turns out we didn't do any jobs bills. So here we go, right before the election, they panic and they go, oh, we have a jobs bill. We have a jobs bill. Yes! So one of the comical things they put in there was 20% tax break for small businesses. Now, okay, that might be fair if you want to stimulate the economy. I don't agree with it, but I get it, right? But no, one thing they did is inarguably bad. We've talked about it last week. What they did was, there used to be an exception. This can't go to the financial industry where there aren't that many people working, and hence technically it would be a small business, but in fact, they're multi-billion-dollar companies, right? The Republicans removed the exception. So they said, oh, no. The hedge fund billionaires, they're small businesses. They should also get another 20% tax break. These guys are so disingenuous, but it turns out it's even worse. So what did they go after this time? Well, it also snuck into the bill is getting rid of what some are calling fundamental reduction in the level of transparency and regulation, some for the companies that already exist, some for the companies that are about to go public. So for example, a company going public now only has to present 2 years of their books. The rest of it, hey, you're guessing, good luck to you, okay? And then after that, they don't have to give you books for 5 years. But wait, if you're an investor, how do you know how much the company's worth, or how are you going to invest in them if you can't see their books? This is an invitation to fraud. Look, in some ways, in some of the things that they're talking about, it does speed up the process, and they say, so don't worry though, and this is only for small businesses, companies that are worth under $1 billion. SEC regulators say, wait a minute, that's almost all the companies. Yes, there's some giant companies that make over $1 billion, obviously, but a great majority of the companies are under $1 billion. You've basically said, again, the bar door is open. Go, run. All the horses run out. Do whatever you like. Investor protection, no. But you get a sense of it here? Because aren't these guys supposed to be capitalists? And who should they protect in a capitalist system? The shareholders, the investors, right? They're the ones who own the companies. No, under the Republican system, you protect the executives so that, hey, look at that, the investors and the shareholders don't have any protection. Oh, how did their money wind up in my pocket? And how did some of it get funneled to the Republicans? I don't know, golly gee, how did that happen? So here we go. What are people saying about it? Lynn Turner is a former SEC chief accountant. It won't create jobs. It will simplify fraud. This would be better known as the Bucket Shop and Penny Stock Fraud Reauthorization Act of 2012. Those two things she's referring to there, Bucket Shop and Penny Stock, are classic fraud devices on Wall Street. It's the way that people hoodwink and swindle others. She's the former accountant chief for the SEC. She's like, you're just going to let them do this fraud because nobody can look at their books? Are you crazy? They're not crazy. They get paid by those guys. They get paid by the crooks. Okay, so here's another quote from former SEC Chairman Barbara Roper. She says, quote, you don't increase jobs growth by rolling back regulatory protections, and it's frankly bewildering that the Democrats have been so willing to buy into traditional Republican argument. Barbara, you haven't been around in politics much, have you? That's the least bewildering thing in the world. I'm going to give you the final vote in a second, right? But are the Democrats on board for this Republican plan? Of course! They get paid by the same guys. Chuck Schumer, Titan of Wall Street, Democrat from New York. Oh, this is very important. Oh, I bet it'll create a lot of jobs. Give me the money, give me the money, give me the money. You think Chuck Schumer is on a progressive side on this issue? All right, former SEC Chairman Arthur Levitt also says it's a disaster, invitation to fraud, etc., right? He's against it. Current SEC Chairman Mary Shapiro, who hasn't touched a hair on a banker's head while she's been the head of the SEC. So, I mean, it doesn't get any softer on the big bankers. Sometimes she goes after the small fish, but leaves the big fish alone. Now, what's she going to say? Even she says, quote, she believes that portions of the legislation either unnecessarily eliminate important investor protections or are not balanced with sufficient safeguards. And that's John Nestor, the agency spokesman, quoting Mary Shapiro. Even Mary Shapiro's office is like, boy, wow, is that going to create fraud? Here's your final vote on it in the House. 390 to 23.